When I fell in love, um, I was young. I think we all fall in love young. But I fell in love with Judas, unaware of him being Judas at the time, because for me, he was the epitome of what a man was. So today in our chill out attire, we got Prince. Alright, vintage Prince walking through the village. Alright, that's what we got for our chill out gear. And I am really eager to do my hair. But um, I'm recovering, excuse me, from um, feeling under the weather. So, uh, that is why I haven't been able to get out and do my hair. But, uh, yeah, so I wanna talk about, um, because it seems like as if he just turned into this totally, completely different person, and he did. He did, but I think it had a lot to do with our experiences. Our experiences, shape us and mold us. And while I don't want to make it seem like he's this fucked up individual, even though that may be who he is, honestly, I really don't even know. Um, but I could tell you in comparison that then, right? Then, he was everything that I've known a man to be, and I feel like I have great, beyond great examples with the men in my family, and particularly my uncles, because they raised me. Those were the men that were in my life. And when I think back to my childhood, I think I had probably the same kind of childhood that most of us had. I think, you have your ups and downs, you have your peer pressures, like, uh, bullies and shit of that nature. But for the most part, right now, in all honesty, um, I wouldn't change the way that I was raised. Not if it would change the type of person that I've become, because um, one thing I knew for sure growing up, one thing I knew for sure, I knew that I was loved. And I feel like when it had me to grow up and believe that when children understand that they are loved, you are allowing them a roadmap to self-esteem. You're like, then they're solidifying it. You're open up an outline for self-discovery. And I honestly believe that you allow them, without really knowing, to conquer anywhere between 60 to 70% of the world's issues, because most of the world, well, let's not get matter of factly, but most of the world's issues have nothing to do with the individual person itself. Like, most of the issues that the world is going through have nothing to do with you as an individual. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like when you instill that type of love, it automatically comes with support. It automatically comes with trust. And when children had that, um, and when I had it, it was just even coming of age. There was just things that I didn't have to worry about, like dealing with the emotions of being jealous. I have not ever in my life to date, because sometimes you get too sure of yourself, and God will be like, oh, someone needs a lesson. So I'm not calling nobody out, but to date, I haven't ever had to deal with feeling jealous of another woman or another man. So I'm trying to explain that because, it may be a hard concept to grasp with some people or a lot of people, because we tend to normalize a lot of shit. So if, because jealousy is just a known emotion, people may take it as, well, that's impossible for you, like, to never have dealt with that. But and I haven't, and I want to sincerely thank my grandparents, my uncles, and particularly three uncles, um my grandmother and my mother, because that is who raised me. My uncle, my grandmother, and my mom, right? And feeling like I was the first grandchild. I was the first child. I was my mom's first child. I was the first grandchild because my mom was the oldest. And, you know, go, going back on family conversations, they say, oh, you've been spoiled since you was young. But I just, I wasn't spoiled with material things because we was in the hood. We struggled like every fucking body else. But I was spoiled with fucking love. And I cannot express enough how much of an impact that had on my life. So that when it came to people having material things more than me or over me, I never felt bad. It never had an effect on me to make me feel bad about myself. Here's what lacking materialistically did to me, because it still affected me, but not in a way to make me jealous. But it's part of the reason why I go so hard right now. Not so that I can gain, um, like, it gave me work ethic. Let me say it gave me more value in the small things, or what we consider small things that we may take for granted. Like, it gave me the experience of trauma. And so now I overdo small things. So I'll go and I'll have a asshole full of toiletries. Asshole full of toiletries because I have a deep seated fear to run out. Because I remember growing up in a household where there would be a time where we would run out of fucking toiletries. And I mean, these were the days where credit, right, wasn't considered credit, but it was in the making, because we would be down to no toothpaste. And my grandmother would be like, well, you know what? You gotta open the baking soda. That's why I keep baking soda just in case. And even though baking soda is 100% great for your teeth, I really can't say it is 100% great for your hygiene. Because it fucking tasted nasty. And I felt like if it tasted nasty, it in conjunction with your morning breath would not be a good turnout. And and I remember um us having our first bout of credit, meaning my mom or my grandma would write a note to the guy at the corner store and say, this is my name, you know who I am, this is my address, and I need to be able to borrow a tube of toothpaste, a pack of cigarettes, and a Pepsi until such and such date, you know, and yeah, the corner store, in Brooklyn, New York, yeah, and um, that's kind of how I believe that credit got started. But so I'm using that as is a real example, but I'm just mainly trying to stick to the point that jealousy, I that's just not, because there was nothing ever no one had that I couldn't get from anything material to another person. There was no reason for me to be jealous of you because you had a damn man. Because I can get a man too. I ain't never had a problem getting a damn man. Okay, matter of fact, I think men are the easiest to get. Now, type of bit is something possibly different, but you get my point. Um, I never looked at someone else and said, "Oh, they got this you know, Gucci purse, and oh, I hate that bitch because she got it." Because first of all, in all honesty, purses wasn't my thing. Purses ain't been my thing. Footwear has been my thing, and now that I am maturing into a woman, I think that I need to change what my thing is, because my closet is ridiculous with footwear, and I don't have enough time in the day or enough places to go to wear all this fucking footwear. But what I've seen in the men growing up, from my uncles to their friends to the drug dealers in the neighborhood and all of that stuff, maybe it was because we was from the same background. Um, Even though we were raised differently, but he was the epitome of everything that I had wanted in a man. Um, he was loving, he was tough, he was kind, he was respectful, he was very street smart. Um, he had a great balance of things, and when we began living together, he taught me the difference between being a significant other at home and being a significant other, outside in the street, you know. Um, and that was real big for me at the time, you know, because I always thought that people are one and the same wherever they go. And he taught me that 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 wasn't the case. That outside I'm gonna be this particular problem, I'm gonna be there, and that is who I am. But when I'm in home, I'm still myself. I'm just another version of myself, because I get to be a certain way with you, and I get to be another way around my kids, And that was really big for me. It was also deep for me, um, because I was also learning. You know, it taught me something that I felt was new, that I felt was imperative, and something that I felt like I could adopt into my own persona and character building. Like, okay, okay. And so, in his absence, um, I assume he continued to work on himself I did, as I worked on myself. Like, as I did. I had no fucking idea that he wouldn't, you know? Or, I mean, because this is my perception, perhaps he did. And the person who he turned into is no longer the ideal man for me. And that's just what it is, and that's just the way it is. And so I'm not looking, but I just have an inner sense of knowing that my next relationship will be what I believe to be the final act. What I mean by that, um, I I have that much belief in the universe that nothing goes without sacrifice, right? And sometimes the people that we love, unfortunately, has to turn out to be um, a lesson, because ultimately the universe has someone, something else for us, the next phase, the next level. Um, and if it were up to us, we probably wouldn't ever get to the better or the best that God has for us, because we want what we want the way we want it, when we want it. And so whatever it is that we know, whatever we get comfortable in, even if it's toxic, we just like to leave it there, stop it there, because we just think that to start over is a lot or too much. Oh, excuse me. Getting to know someone, getting to know a new, starting a new job, whatever it is that we have to begin again, we just feel like it's a lot of too much. But and this is when they gotta start forcing the situation. They gotta start forcing shit like, all right, you know what? Because she gonna keep holding on to this shit. And this shit gonna end up killing her or hospitalizing her. Or this is not the look that we was going for. This is not the outcome that we wanted for her. And so they start shaking shit up and moving furniture until there's a separation factor, because ultimately we have to live in our own divine purpose, and that is going to happen voluntary or involuntary. And sometimes our divine purpose has to be fulfilled alone. Sometimes is with others. But even if it's alone, there will always be people, places, and things that God maneuvers around you and in and out of your life to get you where you need to be. And I just think that it's a human trait to get certain things and want to hold on to them. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think that a part of, at least for me, the lesson is to learn when to let go. Gotta learn when to let go. When you let go, though, there's something greater ahead that you can hold on to. And I'm looking forward to that. And in the process of me looking forward to that, right, I get to keep working on myself, and with working on myself, I get to really feel the elements of liberation. I get to learn more about myself, which I think is ultimately is so important. And I get to really, really enjoy myself and have fun. Like, I can really, really, really just do whatever the fuck I want to do. And, excuse me, and not have a second thought of someone being offended about what I'm doing. Because whatever it is I'm doing, I'm not hurting anyone mentally, physically, or emotionally. So I can really just do whatever the fuck I want to do. And that is a form of liberation within itself. And I am proud of myself. Uh, like right now, I'm really taking a dive into what is it that I want for my future. And it's like a whole fucking slew of things. Like, I have like a laundry list of things that I would like for my future to look like. So I have to narrow it down. Um, Sometimes I could picture it so easily. It gets to be it gives me anxiety. Um, because it's like a rush that I get of emotions, and like it's like I can't fucking wait. But I have to be patient and wait because the time hasn't come yet for me to implement any of the lifestyle changes of my future. But I am diligently working on it. And when you're in any mode of a breakup, it is absolutely imperative that you find things to do with your idle time besides dwell on what has happened. You need to be able to be productive. So whether you begin a workout regimen, whether you get back to your basics, whether you decide to take on something new, or whether you decide to refocus your intent. But you have to become productive so that it will be beneficial to you. And, well, that's all the chat for the day. Happy Sunday.